TT, and this video is actually for my ladies. Y'all know what? I just wanted to make a video. I didn't care about what, who, or anything. I just haven't seen anything lately that caught my attention or got me amped up enough to want to make a video about it. But I'm going to be a positive person. I want to be a positive influence. So I want to tell y'all about the time that I was in a domestic. Now let's keep in mind, anything you can live through, you can laugh about it later. Excluding, breast cancer when you lose a titty or some kind of really serious traumatic thing that you went through that you can't never get over. That's a whole nother thing. But anything in general, situation you put yourself into, once you get through it and once you get over it, you can laugh about it. So I just want to tell y'all the story. And keep in mind, it's not a funny situation. This is time I was in a domestic. Once I finish this story, then I'm going to tell y'all the moral of the story. Okay. Y'all ready? Here we motherfucking go. So, I have moved to another state. Now keep in mind, I've always been the type of mother, wherever I go, my kids coming with me. We all going together. We a fucking team. We a group. Me, them, and God. That's what we are. We all one. So I moved to this other place, and I met this guy. And the type of dude that I like, everybody got their type. Me, myself, I want y'all to think. And if y'all can't imagine what I'm thinking in my head.
Okay. Ooh. It's not the vibe.
Dudes with dreadlocks or nappy afros. Like, I like dudes that look straight from Africa. I don't want no bright skinned nigga. I don't want no pretty nigga. I really don't like no bald head nigga unless he got a goatee. That's just my type. Everybody got their own type. And whatever I end up falling in love with, whatever that is, that's what it'll be. But that's the type I'm attracted to. So, let me tell you why I fell in love with him. At the time, he was working at a store. And he was the little, the car pushing guy. That was just a front for him selling weed. Because there was a club right next to where he worked. So every time people was going to the club, they would come and hit him first because he was the man about that. You know what I mean? So he always had, I couldn't find no weed. And he always had the weed at that point in my life. Okay, that's what I was in my life at that point. Okay? So he always had the weed shit. And he was the weed man. He was out pushing baskets. He could be out there all night. They really didn't pay too much attention to him. And at that time, I was working for a company where I had to have a lot of products and stuff in my bag. So I would have this big bag every day, and it would be loaded up with stuff, products, stuff like that. So long story short, he would wake me up in the morning. And keep in mind that he worked late at night. He worked till about 11, 12 at night at his job, pushing baskets, selling weed. And I woke up early in the morning to catch the bus to take my 3.5-hour trip to get to my job. So this boy, every morning, it'll be 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, he'll call me and wake me up. Hey, good morning, you up? Get up, you gotta go to work. And then his apartment building was adjoining to mine. So he would wake me up. He would take my big bag full of stuff. Now, keep in mind, this bag weighed about 10, 15 pounds. I'm talking about every day. It wasn't sometimes. Because whenever you take old stuff out, you had to put new stuff in it. And it was always heavy as shit. All the time. So he would take my bag. Come on, let me get that. He would take my bag. He'd walk me over to the bus stop. He'd keep me company while I went to work and everything. This is why I fell in love with him. And, he was always so sweet. I'm talking about where I moved to, it would be so cold in the winter times. And he would just take me, and when he would be there when I went to work, and when I got off the bus at night, it would be like 10:30 at night. And, it was like at least a 3-mile walk. The bus stopped at 10:30, so it wouldn't take me all the way back where they dropped me off. It would take me to the stop that was like 3 or 4 miles away. And I would have to walk the whole way back. So every night, this boy would call me. You off the bus now? What you doing? Okay, I'm coming to get you. And he would leave his job where he was selling weed and push the cars. And he would walk, all the way wherever I would meet him at other things so I know I felt safe. He would take my bag here, let me get that. And when it was cold, he would put me in the middle of his jacket and be like, I don't even want the cold to touch you. Moral one is that what abusive men do. They are so sweet to you, and sometimes things are really too good to be true. Sometimes they are. Sometimes you can get that person that God got for you if you wait on it and you pray on it, and you're the type of person that, you know, actually deserves it. And sometimes it does work out. And sometimes the most ignorant bitches end up with the most loyal, wonderful men. Who knows the whole scheme of things and how it works out? But this is my story. This is how it worked out for me. Sometimes things are too good to be true. So, you know, I kept telling him why I wouldn't be with him and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, still I was falling in love with him because he always made me laugh. And he always had a good weed. And he loved poetry the way I did. He taught me different things, like stuff I never paid attention to in regular life. How just different things. He was very into nature. He was a real nature, just natural, spiritual person. And I connected with that. And we used to do like a lot of different stuff together. That was just fun. And that's what made me fall in love with him. So, about 3 months it took me. Finally, one day I just woke up and like, you know what? I hope he kissed me. I just want him to kiss me. I just want him to kiss me. And that night we were sitting there. We had our own little spot we always used to go to. And, you know, at the end of that night, he was like, because he was holding me. It was cold that night, so he had his jacket around me. He had this real warm, like, awesome army coat thing. He had me. And then he would always just rub me down. We smoked together, chill together in that little cocoon of warmth. And so that same very night, when I woke up that morning saying, I hope he kissed me. I just want him to kiss me. He said, you know what? You're going to hate me for this. And he tipped my head up and he gave me that movie kiss. That kiss that make you butterflies come in your stomach. That kiss that make your knees weak. And bitch, if you ain't never felt that fucking kiss before, you keep waiting on that because you fucking with the wrong niggas. It happens. And whenever it happens, it's wonderful. And it's meant to be for that moment. So, you know, discount everything out. Sometimes it's just meant to be like that. Just for that moment, in that space and time. In that person. So that, and then as soon as he kissed me, I just, whole thing. Butterflies, knees weak. Like, oh, yes. The same, very nice. So that's why I was like, oh, this is meant to be. Everything has went the way accordingly. He looked the way I want him to. He acted the way I want him to. This motherfucker hustle hard all day. He do everything he can to take care of me, make sure I'm okay all day. No matter what he doing, he will stop it to come to me. And that's the main thing I want in my life. And he always make me laugh. You know, so that's why I fell in love with him. So then... Okay, so keep in mind, this is about a 3-month process. Before we even kissed, it was about 3 months. So then, you know, we got to the point of, okay, we passed kissing. You know, we hunched around a little bit. Because, you know, my body's a treasure, honey. Everybody can't get it. You got to dig through my mind first. Then you got to get into my heart. And then you got to just touch something in my soul. And that's the only way you get to my cooch, honey. It's a whole process. You got to keep digging. You got to keep digging. You got to keep working. You got to dig for me. Because I ain't for everybody, honey. Everybody definitely ain't for motherfucking me. Alright, so. Finally, after about 4 months. So, after we got to the kissing stage, it was a whole 4-month thing. So, then we was in it. He said, you know, he was the only person in my whole life, I think. Because you know how it is nowadays when you just assume y'all together. Y'all just assume. Y'all done been kicking it so long, y'all just assume y'all together. But he asked me, he was like, what are we doing? Because I want to be with you. I don't know what to call you. I don't know if I can call you my woman, my girlfriend. Are we going to be together? I'm asking you. Can I be your man? And that just touched me more than any fucking thing else. It was the sweetest thing I probably had ever heard. I was like, yeah. You know, so then after that, we together. So this whole time, keep in mind that was my soulmate, my best friend at that point in time in my life. And we was Bonnie and Clyde on everything. Whatever he was doing, I was doing it. Whatever the fuck I was doing, I couldn't, because he worked a hard job. And he used to have to work miles to come home. Because he didn't have a car at the time. And, you know, he worked so far. I had a little raggedy piece of fucking car. I wouldn't make it to go pick him up even if I wanted to. And plus, I was working like 10, 12 hours a day. So I couldn't come pick him up even if I wanted to. So he would walk all the way to my house. I'm talking about miles. After a long, hard, he did like... construction work and stuff like that. He walked all the way to my house just to fucking be with me. This is the kind of dedication it takes to get with me. These are the things he did. It takes laughter, it takes fun, it takes these things to get with me. And these are all the things that he did. So keep in mind that we was best friends. I could tell him anything, and I felt like he could tell me anything, and we was like motherfucking this. Talking about 10 fingers on 10 fists and 10 wrists or whatever. That was what we was. It wasn't nothing else but us. So then I messed around. I got into it with somebody because I was like, you know, I'm a nice person, but everybody that knows me know you don't fuck with me too far. You don't never try to push me too far neither. You won't never expect what you're gonna get, but you're gonna get that shit. You fuck with me hard enough. So I had these little chicks where I used to work. I was a supervisor at a maintenance company.
Why y'all bitch niggas wanna play me? I kick your dog. Draw down on Hoppo, Miss Sealy, so Philly and Suge A-Ray. Leaving your whole face color purple. I told you put my name in your mouth. What's going
As long as you do not put a finger on me, okay? It's all good. You talk as much shit as you want to. I'm extract myself from the situation. I'm still gonna be living, loving, looking good, and living fine. Cause bitch, I can't get down to your level, okay? So one day, I was going to check my rooms to make sure everything was clean. And one of the brides, the main little headliner bitch, she come up to me, honey. I went full throttle on that bitch. Because, you know, you get to that point where you just wait for somebody to say one more motherfucking thing to you because you done had enough already. And you can just wait for them to say that one more motherfucking thing. You done try the best you can to be as calm as you can. You just wait. Like, okay, one person say one more motherfucking thing to me. It's a motherfucking rap on that bitch. That's all I'm saying. We was in the room, and this patient, poor lady, she was old, because we worked at a nursing home. I was the manager supervisor for a nursing home. The poor lady just laying up there looking like she was dead. And I do remember that very clear. I was laying there like, oh my God, is she dead? And oh my God, what do I do if she is passed away? I didn't know, you know, what the fuck. I remember that whenever she came in and said whatever she said. And as soon as she came in and said one motherfucking word to me, it was motherfucking out. I went off on that bitch so full throttle, so coldly, and with so much goddamn vicious shade, that bitch was not ready for it. But her boss, her doctor that she was working underneath, because she was an RN at the place, he heard it. So therefore, when it got back to my supervisor and the managers, my boss just called me in the office and was like, what did you do? I was like, what you mean, what I do? You know, and he was like, well, they said you did this and you did that, and I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I was like, what? Really? And so then I laid down the whole thing. This is what has been happening to me. He was like, well, you should have came and told us this before now, because now it's past the time where I can help you. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I'm just putting you on suspension for right now. We're going to see what the fuck happens. You know what I mean? Even though that bitch had initiated it, I don't mind losing that job, because guess what? I got every fucking thing I needed off my chest. Like, bitch, you know what? Let me tell you one motherfucking thing. I do remember doing a lot of this. I do remember telling her, bitch, if you want to bump, we finna motherfucking bump right now. What the fuck you doing? I remember all of that. I do remember. I do remember all of that. That shit did actually happen. But, you know, she didn't want to do that. She just wanted to run her mouth. Fine. I lost a good job because of that. But then, as a result of that, because everything you do, that's more number 2, everything you do has a consequence. So you cannot let people take you out of your character. You do have to stand for what you believe in. You do have to stand for your shit. You have to stand for your own butt. You can't let no peasant bitches put you in the dirt with them. That's one thing I did learn from that. Because, you know, you always, every day, you got to learn. You got to learn from your mistakes. You got to be wiser every day. You can't be the same dumb bitch you was 10 fucking years ago. And you can't regress and be stupider than you used to be back when you was smart. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. So I did learn that. You know, don't let no bitch take me out by fucking context. I would handle my shit. But I should have did that a different way. But it's over. Fucking it happened. So then, I lost my job. And this is, I'm back to the domestic now. This is how the whole domestic happened. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. God damn it. Okay, so, long story very short, I ended up losing my apartment. And me and my 2 children had to move in with the boyfriend. And at that time, we had been together for about 6 months. We were 6 months. Oh, no. 9 months we had been together. And we was 9 motherfucking strong. We still like this. We 2 fists together. Goddamn it, whatever the fuck we doing, we doing it together. That's how where we was at that point. So then we had to move in with his mama. This bitch was so weird. I'm talking about, I don't know what happened to her in a bathroom one time with a wet doorknob. I don't know. But I'm telling you what type of weird she was. She was like, I can't stand, keep in mind, it was a little tiny apartment, and we all had to, me and my kids collected. It was 2 bedrooms, so we had to move into his room with him, me and my 2 kids, and got everything together, and we can move out into our own place. That was the plan. That's always the plan, right? Do better. So basically, long story short, every time she had water, like you can wash your hands in the bathroom and then open the bathroom door. Because she would go right behind you and she would test it. If it had a drop of water on it, she would freak the fuck out. Also, if you were in her kitchen, you couldn't wash your hands in the kitchen sink to wash your hands and then go into her kitchen. Even though before I got there, her kitchen was fucking filthy. Her house had fucking layers of dust and dirt on it that I cleaned the fuck up. Because I wasn't finna have us just laying around in her fucking bullshit. And she was like a hoarder type chick. But not in everything about her was so strange. Like, she would have books piled up. Stacks and stacks of books all the way to the fucking ceiling. She had a washer and dryer in her room connected to, I don't know what the fuck it was connected to. I still don't know to this day. But could nobody use her washer and dryer? We still had to go to the laundromat and stuff to wash clothes. She was just weird about everything. But she worked for like the welfare office or something. And she was always, that's all she ever did was talk about herself. Oh, well, I can have the first lid on anything. I always use about the 5th lid down. And I don't use any straws that are not in a plastic thing that I don't pick out myself. And I always talking this about, see, the bitch was just fucking weird in so many different ways. The one thing I can say, I think that probably really jobbed her the worst was the fact that before we moved in, she liked to walk around naked in the house. And when we got there, she couldn't do that shit no more. She was just a weird bitch in general. So, now keep in mind, at this time, she was living in a rent-controlled type apartment where everything was all-inclusive. He was a mama's boy. And that's my other, number 3. Number 3. Don't get involved with no mama's boys, because, honey, if he's a mama's boy, ain't nobody ever gonna be good enough for him. And mama's boys are always brainwashed the fuck out. They ain't got no common sense besides anything besides what they mama say. Don't fuck with mama's boys. Fuck with grown men. That's it with that. So, she would tell him, like, when they say that, it's a rent, everything inclusive, he thought for some reason she had him convinced, as grown as he was. I don't even understand this to this day. As grown as he was, she had him convinced that every time it was an extra drop of water or extra light bulb on or extra anything that cost her extra on the rent. Well, no matter what it is, she was in a rent-controlled apartment, so no matter what the fuck it was, the rent was still the same amount. And I could never tell him no different than that. Nigga, look. So, one day, me and him, we was outside. And it was on a Sunday, I'll never forget it. It was Sunday. I was drinking my Sunday liquor because I tried to get him to go to church, and he had been acting real distant and funny with me and shit, and we was having issues. So I was like, come on, let's just talk, because that's what grown people do. You talk and you communicate. All this time before this whole 2-week span, when we moved in with his mama, everything was fucking cool. But, living with her exasperated the whole situation that I didn't even know was there. Okay? So, we sitting outside on the picnic table. Ain't nothing out there but some kids playing, picnic table, some grass. Me and you. Because that's how we started this shit. That's who's in this shit. It's us. You know what I mean? Fine. So then, he told me, well, my mama said, as soon as he said my mama said, something flipped in my head. I was like, you know what, motherfucker? You a bitch-ass mama's boy, and I can't stand you or your bitch-ass fucking mama right now. You sounding just like that punk-ass bitch. And if I hear you say my mama said one more goddamn time, nigga, we're gonna have a motherfucking problem, and I'm leaving you. That's the main thing, moral 4 of the story. You don't never tell nobody that's abusive that you're leaving them, okay? If you gonna leave, you leave quietly. When that nigga's at work or he's asleep, he drug his ass to sleep, and you leave then. You never tell an abusive person that you're leaving them, because that's their trigger. You know, they want to control you. And he didn't control me. Let me make that very clear. He didn't control me, but that's their trigger. You know, as long as they know you're going to stick with it. But as soon as you say leaving, or the word leaving, flips them the fuck out. Okay, it flips them out. And that's what happened to me. Honey, when I tell you that I done heard the term getting the taste slapped out your mouth, and I didn't realize that shit was true, that nigga slapped me so fucking hard. I'm talking about as soon as I said, yo, bitch ass mama, I probably shouldn't have said it, but that's my mouth and fuck it. That's just how the fuck I am. Except the fact that I'm wiser now and I won't mess with a mama's voice. I won't have to have them kind of conversations. Moral 5. Learn from your mistakes. So, honey, when I said this nigga slapped the fucking taste out my mouth, I mean, he slapped me so fucking hard across that fucking picnic table. Not only did I not know that he had hit me, it took me a second to realize that I didn't taste shit but white and what the fuck. That's all I could taste in my mouth, just clear. I couldn't taste. He literally slapped the taste out my mouth. Not only that, he knocked my glasses off. Now keep in mind, I'm very nearsighted. I can't see shit without these glasses on. Very nearsighted. He slapped these motherfuckers clean across the goddamn yard. Just blah. So it took me a second. Did this nigga just hit me? Hit me? Honey. Before he slapped me, he took my liquor. He poured out my liquor. Fuck it, you not drinking no more of this shit. I was like, bitch, I drink this shit so I can deal with your fuck ass right now. Because these last 2 weeks, you been motherfucking tripping. And then he broke all my cigarettes. I had a cigarette pack and he just broke and crushed all my fucking cigarettes. I was like, what the fuck you did? And then when I said the bitch mama thing, that's when he fucking slapped me across the goddamn table. So that's the whole sequence of events the way it went. Moral 6 of this story. If you ever get abused by men, women, don't ever tell nobody you trying to date. You tell people just like I am. You vent some shit on a video. You tell your homegirls. You tell motherfuckers you don't never have no intention of dating. Because guess what? If you ever tell a nigga that somebody else hit you, they'll think that they can do it too. And maybe they'll be the one to get away with it. But no. So don't ever do this. I'm just telling y'all. Because y'all my people. And because I want to make a video. So get back to the story. God damn it. Oh my God. Wait a minute. So then what happened was this. Oh, where was I? Okay. So he slapped me. Slapped the taste out. I got myself back there like, okay. Because just like my mama say, I'm a woman, I'm a queen. But once you hit me, it's a motherfucking fight. I do feel way back here. I punched that nigga in the mouth so fucking hard, I wanted to rattle his fucking brain and lay him flat on his ass. That was my intention. But no, he a grown ass man. So then, he didn't go down with that, so I tried to kick him in the balls, but he had on the baggy jeans, so I couldn't do that, because I just want to incapacitate that nigga to fuck him up, like, how fucking dare you slap me, you bitch nigga, how fucking dare you, just like a bitch ass mama, just like I said, and you know what I'm saying, and so, when I tell y'all, that this nigga, yeah, it went down, he WWF me a few times, yeah, when I say WWF, I mean he was just picking me up and slamming me and shit like that a few times, about 2 or 3 times. He got away with that. I took out further. I was like, I'm finna get a knife. I'm gonna stab this motherfucker in his goddamn head. I'm gonna stab this motherfucker until he is not thinking anymore and he ain't breathing. I'm gonna kill this motherfucker today because he hit me. This fucking just happened. So I'm running. Then he tackles me from behind. And we end up on the ground, right? He choking me. And I'm so mad at this point. I'm like, motherfucker, you can't even choke me right, bitch. I can still motherfucking breathe, bitch. And the Lord let me put my hand on the rock. Honey. And you know how you only got so much leeway with a rock if somebody's on top of you. Like, you ain't got that leeway to just crack him on the skull. Honey, when I say I was just beating him on the back of his head with all my might, I was. So, yeah, that happened. So then finally, I had beat him up, and he was like, I should kill that bitch, kill me, that motherfucker, because if you don't kill me, you won't die the motherfucking day. I was talking a lot of shit, because that's how the fuck I felt right then. I really was planning on killing him. So, long story very short, I ran in the house, ran past his old bitch ass, punk ass fucking mama, who probably already knew the shit was gonna go down, because she has incited all of it. And I went down my phone, I called the cops. And it was like, we don't already had 3 reports on this, don't worry, we had somebody on the way out. Okay. So I got it, I was like just all mad. I wasn't crying or nothing. So this is what ended up happening with my domestic dispute. The time I was in a domestic, the one time. And I guarantee to you, that's the only time anybody's ever put their hands on me. And I guarantee to you, he never had a second chance because I fucking boned out. And I'm going to tell y'all that. I'm getting to that part of the story. So long story short, Okay, so the cops came. And by the time the cops came, you know, my good friend, my good dude, my good buddy, my gay friend, I would tell anybody, we're not friends anymore because some whole different shit. But that was the most pure, most wonderful, most awesome individual I've ever had in my whole life. As soon as I called him, he came running. His sister came too. And his sister, I used to live with his sister. And that was my damn bitch right there. That good chick right there. And so, they came, and so by the time the cops came, I still had not shed one fucking tear. I was so fucking bad. I was just bad that he had dared to hit me. So by the time the cops got there, it was a little lady, blonde hair cop with a ponytail, and it was a male cop. The male cop was very quiet. And so by the time they got here, I had been talking to... No, let me tell you what happened first. So the first thing that happened was this. I went outside. I'm stomping outside because I heard the cops was there. So I went outside, and all the kids that had been in the playground when we first started, I'm talking about, it's like 12 kids. The kids have linked in my arms because God will always, that's moral 7. God will always send you an angel when you need one. I'm talking about, I got 6 kids. I got 3 linked on each arm, and they all linked together. And like, ma'am, we saw everything, ma'am. And they stomping with me like, ma'am, we saw everything. We saw him hit you. We saw everything, miss. You know, so they was coming me, and they told the police the straight truth. They was like, no, she was sitting on a bench, and he slapped her, and he picked her up, and he threw her down, and she had to do this. Because by the time the cops got there, this nigga, keep in mind, this is where the white tea comes back in. This nigga, by the time they got to get there, his shirt was ripped the fuck all the way down to his navel. He had blood everywhere.
And the saga continues. Another domestic lesson. Believing that a real woman's place is behind you. So you commence to beat her and treat her like some kind of creature, disregarding the words of the Most High's teacher. Your duty is to preserve her, homie, not hurt her. Deal with her from her neck up and not her navel down. And show your God you deserve her.